We can call the meeting to order. We need to add an agenda item. Do I just ask for that? And
so I'm thinking, can I get a motion to add election of officers before the approval of minutes?
Okay. Can I please get a motion to add to the agenda the approval of officers to the agenda prior to the location of approval of minutes, please?
Second.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so let us do some officer appointments here. I would like to make a motion to consider Elaine Lang as chair of the Design Review Board.
Second.
Thank you, Doug. All in favor or any discussion on
I would
that?
say, are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations for chair?
Close the floor.
Okay, we can close that. And
I would like to nominate Polly for this position. This is Anka Dragulski. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you. So Anka nominates Polly. It technically does not require a second.
okay, then we don't need that.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so then we can do some voting.
You have vote in order of nomination.
Okay, so all in favor of voting Elaine as the chair, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Elaine and Anka, could you just respond in by voice?
Aye.
So what do I say? No or what?
Yeah, it sounds like you might want to say no if you don't want Elaine to be the chair. Right, so with that vote, that's going to carry 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1. There's no need to vote for Polly or chair.
Thank you, Anka, for your vote or your nomination.
So Elaine is the chair.
I would like to nominate Polly Rice as secretary and de facto vice chair.
It doesn't need a second technically.
Okay.
Just, are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations?
So hearing none, you be by acclamation. You've got
Okay.
one, so I don't even think you have to vote on
We
it.
don't need to vote on that, and thank you all for your no vote.
We
So
acclaim
that's-
you, Polly.
Yes, that's all set. So Elaine Lang will be chair and I will be secretary.
And Madam Chair, I would just note for the efficiency purpose tonight, you'll be acting.
And tonight I will be acting chair as Elaine is on Zoom. So, okay, next order of business is to review and approve the minutes from the last meeting, which was December 18th, 2023. Anybody have any comments or questions on that? Okay, looks like no. So a nomination to approve the minutes of December 18th, 2023.
I nominate that we approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. All right. Now we move to old business. We are looking at application ZC number 23-38 of SL Simsbury LLC owner, Holden Sabato, applicant for a type 4 master site development plan pursuant to section 50B4 of the Hartford Simsbury form-based code for the construction of a 580 unit residential development at 200 Hot Meadows Street, Simsbury, Connecticut, zone HSFBC.
Madam Chair, the applicant is here tonight. They provided a lengthy presentation. If you recall, it's your first meeting on December 18th, so the applicant is here again tonight. I wanted, if you don't mind, if I could just add, just frame it a little bit
Yes,
for the
please.
commission. I think it might be helpful. Again, so this is a master plan application. You don't get them very often. They're in this zone, in the Hartford Simsbury form-based code. Sometimes you might get them as part of a planned area development application, where it essentially happens in 2 stages, right? The master plan is the big picture. It's where the building's going to be and where the road's going to be. It's not necessarily refined to a civil or civil engineering level of detail. You're going to see that in a site plan application if the application gets through the process. There'll be a site plan application where you will review hyper-technical details that you always. That's why as part of this application, you don't see specific fence details or lighting details. This is a master plan review is more about the big picture design elements, I think, for this commission, this design review board. Layout, scale, height, massing, the locations of the buildings, the landscape concept that the applicant is trying to provide. Not the individual tree and where it is, but the concept of buffering and landscaping. Of course, architectural features, which the applicant submitted a significant package. Architecture features in general, the types of houses, the types of duplexes, the size and massing of the multifamily buildings. Again, that primary architecture. So just wanted to try and frame it just a little bit for you. I think by and large, remember what your job is. You're advisory to the zoning commission. So your recommendations, you always ought to make a recommendation to recommend approval or denial or those kinds of things. But more importantly is what are your recommendations about the site and the application as proposed? Those recommendations are equally as important. And I don't want to color the discussion by
So
saying
how
anything
is
more
this
than that.
different than what we did 2 weeks ago?
It's not at all. I'm just kind of reframing so we're all kind of on the same page.
Okay.
It's not different at all.
Okay.
You guys are good at this and you know how to do it. I just wanted us to make sure that we remember that we're way up here.
Okay.
As part of
Are they going to present tonight anything different than on the 18th?
So you've got an applicant here, Madam Chair, and if you want to
Okay.
let him just give us a
Sure.
summary.
How you doing? So once again, my name is Paul Vitaliano, I'm a civil engineer with PHB. With me, Scott Savato, who's with SL Simsbury LLC, and Laura Krosky, the president of Krosky Architects, who's our architect. As the planner mentioned, we gave a lengthy presentation last time, it was 2 weeks ago. We went from that meeting to the zoning commission. We gave basically the same presentation, maybe a couple more details related to planning or zoning, and then we really listened to public comment. So while we did take some of that into consideration, there wasn't anything that necessitated a change to the plan at the moment. We're still having that discussion. We're going to go back to zoning tonight and listen to the commission's comments. So really, we are here to listen to any other comments or feedback you might have. I would like to basically second what George just said about, I guess the uniqueness of this with the master plan being something that's not really in every zone. And while I agree that, we're looking at this at a high level, we do value your input now because if this does proceed through zoning, we're going to come back with those very detailed plans that were mentioned. And obviously, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, months from now. It'd be nice to have your input now and just have everybody kind of say, like, and as we discussed a few months ago, you mentioned this and that, and here's how we addressed it. So really, we're here to listen to any feedback or questions you might have. And I'm sorry, one other comment. You had mentioned if we had any new material, or someone had mentioned if there was any new material. There really isn't. We do have one graphic that we're going to present to zoning, which just kind of shows the north and the south sites together to just give some reference to scale. So if that's something you'd like to see, that's really our only material.
Yeah, why don't you start with that, since that's the new item.
Sure, unless I put you on the spot,
You
George.
can go
Is
around
that
to
what
the,
this one is?
around to the group,
It's not.
with any
It's
questions.
not, all
But
right.
hang on. No, all you said was the demographic.
The first slide to that.
Oh.
With that.
Okay, there you go.
And really, I'll just start teeing up what we're going to show in a second. This is really kind of in response to some comments we received from the Public and Zoning Commission, just about, I won't say it was direct comments, but it was really kind of like, we got the sense that seeing both sites together and understanding their scale and their relationships in the street is going to be important for people to understand, and that's where you're going to see it's just kind of a zoomed out
Hang on a
version.
second. Oh, moment. Too many things over.
Yep, thanks for that one. So, basically, this is obviously on the left, you see the north site as it, I don't recall how recent this is, but this is probably from the summer. So you can see the north site build out, and you can see what we presented to you last time. It's the same graphic we showed, but now we're showing them both together. And really kind of the point of this was to demonstrate that in the south, the buildings are further back than they are in the north. And also their orientation being perpendicular to the road, really kind of, it does present it differently than it does to the north. I'm actually gonna make a point to this. Yeah. So, so basically here in the north, you can see, it's a little hard to see, but there's the one retail building that's constructed is here. The building that's under construction is here, and these are around 130 feet to the street. And then the back buildings here, these are the 2 apartment buildings, and this is the assisted living. These are about 285 to, no, I'm sorry, these are 285 feet to the street. So then when you look at the south, you can see that with our orientation being perpendicular to the road, instead of, these 2 are parallel, they're off to the back, it kind of opens up these views a little more. And these distances are over 300 feet. So we're further back than what you see here. You can just see that here, it's got that 100-foot landscape buffer, whereas here, we're like 150-foot landscape buffer here. The edge of this park is closer to 200. So just kind of gives some perspective there.
So I have a question regarding the north area. Is that fully finished then once that last building is finished?
So I guess finished is something we're going to discuss with the zoning commission. All the buildings are there. I guess to put that in perspective from a massing standpoint, there's still some work to do on this side. They need to do the final course of paving and some of the final landscaping. So that's something that's.
But there's no new structures after?
No, the last structure is this one. That's, if you've driven by, you've seen it's a wood frame building that's going to be finalized.
Okay. One view I don't think I've seen at all is when you are traveling south, the view of, I don't know, Bleacher, but the 2 buildings that are kind of the bottom right.
These here?
Yeah, so if you're traveling south, what the view would look like from that perspective, looking at that area. Do you have that available?
I'll show you the two that we do have. They are the ones you saw last time, but we'll put those up on the screen. For a
Okay,
second
that would be
discussion.
helpful. Thank you. Because even though we talked about the tower being important, the whole
The ridge line.
ridge line, not just the line, but the whole, foliage aspect of it is what's important to a lot of the people in town.
Yep, so 2 slides over from this one. Jared, sorry, George, I did add it.
Unless somebody else.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, that.
So I'll start teeing that up too. So basically, obviously, it's you could look at this from 100 different angles, but what it is, we were trying to be very upfront with this. We looked at it ourselves and we said, what are the most impactful views that we see? And they actually happen to be at the 2 entrance points. And a lot of that's because there's vegetation here already. We flanked this out for our graphic. You can see these trees and these berms really extend through here. And there's a large grouping of trees here today. So the 2 most critical views that we see today and foresee in the future are really through the 2 entrances. And that's what you're going to see out of the 2 Sims that we're going to show you in a second. I'm sorry, could you go over 2 more slides?
Yeah, I'm doing 3 different things. I'm sorry. I was trying to share the screen so that Anka and Lane could see it.
Oh, sorry.
So I did that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, George. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 slides over from this one.
I'm not sure why it's not working.
So we have 1 more again.
Like those ponds right there? I don't know.
I'm sorry. Okay, so these are the 2 entry points. I'm sorry, George, if you go to 1 more. So, so this is the northernmost entrance. So you can see the curve cut through here. So we took this photograph, I don't remember if it was July or August or something like that. Like we said, it was most representative, so you can see like, groups of trees as you go down the road. So the tower is here, obviously the ridge line is there, and like you mentioned, the entire ridge. So, taking our 3D model from the actual buildings that are on the site plan and actually considering the topography that we expect. We're not fully designed, obviously, but we did some preliminary design to make sure our elevations are kind of similar. This is what that view would look like. So you see the towers there, and it opens up this entire ridge area. So we actually feel that this view actually gets opened up more than existing.
And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you're certain once those buildings are built, that the tower will be viewed from the street at a normal car level as you're driving by, not in a Mack truck where you're up high.
Yep, so this model, when we took this, and thank you for asking that, because I get to explain a little more about how we did this. So when we took this photograph, we made sure we took it at that level, which is like 3.5 feet
Okay.
off the road. So both of these are from that, obviously, they're the same photo background, so they're the same perspective. And then what we do is we actually take the building models that Laura provided and designed, and we put that on the topographic information that we have for the site. So it is to the actual elevation. So you are looking at a real elevation of the street. As far as the height, you're looking at a real elevation of the topography here. Like, yes, we might put some berms later, maybe, screen some stuff down low, but basically the building heights are correct by the model. The trees are per our plan, the elevations of the roads and landscape is by our plan as well. And then there's the next image is of the southern entrance. So this is kind of the same thing. You can see where the vegetation's coming in here. And if we went further to the south, you can see the berms. So it really did work out where this was an opening in the view. So when you look at it here, obviously the tower is right there, and there's the ridge. So here you can see that when you come up to if you recall, there was a roundabout and then a central green area here. So our other buildings are off to the page here, and the buildings that are parallel to the green are these two right here. And this is the other building off to the south. So once again, it had the same parameters as last time as far as representing of what's out there today and what our survey and topography shows.
Jolene, you have any questions for Paul?
I don't. I think you've been really thorough in your presentation. Thank you.
How about you, Jen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anka, do you have any questions for Paul?
No, I don't have questions for Paul. Just let me know when I express my opinion on the volumes, on the buildings, as George suggested that we can offer our recommendations to the zoning.
You can do that now.
Yeah, so again, as a member of this design review board, I understand that we are supposed to express architectural design opinions on what's presented to us right now as it is. Obviously not much architectural details. We are still far before that. But regarding these groups of buildings, residential structures, it's only one shape that's plopped everywhere in as many locations as possible to meet the density, the numbers, the figures. To me, it looks like they are very massive, no variety. And I wonder if anything can be done with this big volume, big structure. It's only one design that's really just plopped everywhere. Also, if I have one more, if apparently I can still say more, okay. It seems to me that the clubhouse is really small for such a big community. I mean, can you add more structures for entertainment in this little village? After all, it's a little village. Right now, as it is, to me, it really lacks any urban flavor to it, an internal little village, little town. So it's anything you can do to somehow make it not just a big dormitory area on such a great location in our town.
Okay, thank you, Lanka. I think they're ready to respond to your two questions. One being the, as Lanka said, the kind of lack of variety with the design on those larger structures. And then the second, maybe to answer the question, or the question is the capacity of the clubhouse. How many does that hold? And how does that compare to the number of people expected to live in the community?
Okay,
Thank you, Polly, for clarifying. Yeah, what I mean related to the clubhouse are any other features can be added to diversify a bit the use of this space, entertaining the residents of this, as I said, small village, a cafe, I don't know, a small library, something. A little kindergarten, okay, something other than dorms. Were you able to understand me? I
Yes.
apologize. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So obviously Laura is going to explain more in detail of that, and also maybe last time it was quick, but we do actually have the layout of the clubhouse. We talk a little more detail about what's planned there as well. So I hand over to Laura.
Thank you.
Laura Crosby with Crosby Architects for Architecture Record. So I'll start by addressing the first question with regards to the apartment buildings. If we can flip to those elevations, that's easy enough.
It's not easy enough.
Oh, sorry.
But we're gonna do it.
Okay, thank you. So we do plan for, as we get into more of the design development, plan to look at different colors of the siding to start to break up the, create a little bit of variation between the buildings. There's also some slight variations of the front entries of these buildings. Buildings that are facing the main boulevard have more of a grand entrance at the main entry with a larger overhang portico, whereas the buildings offset start to be a little bit more subdued at their main entry. They're a little bit closer to the street, so the response is a little different. So there will be subtle details as we begin to develop the apartment buildings more in terms of color and detailing to start to differentiate them.
Well, I'm sorry, what elevations would you like to get to now that I'm in the,
Yes.
this is the DRP PowerPoint from last time.
Okay. The first elevation for the apartment buildings, yes. So that one you can see front and center. This is the front elevation. Awesome. Thank you. So right here is the front main elevation. And in plan, I guess I can click with this.
But this elevation, this volume will repeat over and over and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times, right?
Yes.
You'll just vary the color of the vinyl siding, correct? That's all.
Right, so siding, materials, and features, correct.
What features are being adjusted?
So that was where the front entry portico, so the response of the entry on the 4 buildings that face the boulevard is grander than those of the buildings off of the main boulevard. And so that's again a primary response to its location on the site. And then also with the, thinking big picture wise, we're also using the different building types to start to create that variation throughout the site. So transitioning that scale down from the duplexes to the single families.
George, could you bring up the elevation of one of the not so grand looking apartment buildings? So we can see.
One of the duplex units, for instance?
No, as Laura said, that there's some that are
So
on the boulevards that have the grand entrance, and then there should be a picture maybe of ones that
So this,
are off the next
Yeah.
row.
yeah, and this would show up more
Which
in
one would you?
floor plan, which
I'm just going for what you got here.
If you, maybe on one of the first floor plans of the apartment buildings.
Floor plans.
Yes, first floor plan. So, yeah, this is it's a little hard to see here. But this is where on the main buildings on the boulevard, this portico bumps out. It is further set back from the street, so it has more of an entry here. Whereas once you're off of the main boulevard, the buildings are a little bit closer, and then there's just more of a straight, less detailed entry. So that's just an example. Of course, this will get developed further with the design, but that's an example of how we'll start to play the little, the detail games on the apartment buildings to provide some of that variation. With regards to the clubhouse, that is a couple slides. The first few architectural slides show the clubhouse. And if you so kindly and on the floor plan for that, I can speak to that a little bit.
Okay, that was, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the clubhouse. This is for other residential developments. We typically see a clubhouse of around 5,000 square feet. That's pretty typical and has been proven to serve communities with sufficient square footage. This clubhouse is about 7,000 square feet. So it is larger, understanding this is a larger development. We've provided some additional amenities that are not always provided. Some of those amenities are a pet washing station directly off the exterior. We have a pool house, which is not always, a pool and then a nice patio at the pool, which is not something that's always provided. So that's a little above and beyond. If I could ask you to put two more forward to the floor plan. Yes, so let's see if you could zoom in here. So through the main entry.
Like we try.
Okay.
Better?
Yes, so we have a pretty substantial fitness area here, which is, always something that residents are looking for, is highly used in many other developments that we design. There's also community workspace area here, so if residents are working from home and just want to get out of their house, there's a shared workspace here, which is also an amenity that is a little bit above and beyond what we would typically see in other developments. Also office space provided here for leasing and management purposes. We also have a large game room here, which is another nice feature. It kind of creates a separate space for gaming, pool tables. And then as you go further down the hall, we do have this nice large main hall, which, as management decides, maybe it gets rented for parties and residents can host, kids' birthday parties there and so on and so forth.
And how many people is the capacity for that main hall?
Don't have the number right off the top of my head, but it could hold a significant amount of people. There's multiple entrances out, so in terms of code and egress, they're substantial.
So significant, are you saying 150? Are you saying 300?
Probably around 100 or so.
100, okay, because that gives perspective. If you have 500 people living in the community and they have an event where they invite everybody, they obviously can't use that space.
I would have to look into the code to actually give you an exact.
I'm just creating a very grand event to kind of ask, how many you can fit.
And that's, in terms of just the main hall, we also have that, prep space, non-alcohol bar, but just an area for anybody who's hosting a party to set up, put out food and snacks. And this, as previously mentioned, leads out to the patio area, which also has nice seating, and to the pool area on the edge here. So And there's also a men's and women's locker room, so while you're using the pool area, that can be, you can access and use those amenities rather than having to go all the way home to change into your bathing suit. And also a little kitchenette here too, which is just an addition to the main hall and non-alcoholic bar area. So based on our experience of designing other clubhouses, we felt that this clubhouse does provide additional amenities and a fair amount of space at 7,000 square feet.
Could I just add something to that too? In addition to obviously the interior stuff, there's obviously outdoor amenities, in addition to the pool that Laura mentioned. Right now, we're showing a pickleball and like multi-sport, it looks like a basketball court. Obviously, we're gonna explore that, but there is a commitment to do something outside as well. So that's what you'll see on the plan now. And, you know, I was just talking to Holden, and obviously as this evolves, they are open to making this larger to fit the numbers that would be needed. One thing that's not really something that, you know, gets talked about in a great deal is that there is a sewer easement, a large sewer trunk line for the entire town that comes through our site. And that did kind of limit the placement of our buildings and also the shape of this building. So that's something we're going to contend with as well. But I do encourage you to, when you look at the plan next time, if you look at some of the rectangles that are there, they are outside activities like boards and stuff like that.
Anka, did those, your questions get answered?
Not really. I mean, yeah, anyway. If you ask me, I would definitely recommend more effort to be put into it, more creativity, more originality. I don't know. I think it's so much more that can be done with this property. And I do trust that the design, the architects, the design team can come up with much more than they presented to us 2 weeks ago and tonight. As it is right now, you know, I cannot give a positive recommendation to the zoning committee. Just my opinions, just so you know, yeah.
Elaine, how about you? Would you like to make have any questions?
I have a lot of concerns, and a lot of it is very 30,000 foot conceptual concerns. Any development of this size is going to impact the aesthetics of our community tremendously just by existing. And I am very disappointed in a residential only proposal when mixed use had talked about. We went through this with the North property. I don't really feel like there was a meaningful effort to integrate this. Anka's noting that this is adding a whole village to the town of Simsbury is quite accurate. We're looking at adding another Terrafil in terms of the number of dwelling units, but Terrafil has walkable restaurants and businesses that, you know, you talk about pedestrian friendly. Where are these people going? A community of this size could easily support a little restaurant, a little cafe, a daycare center, you know, easily. And, you know, still generate some revenue with fewer dwelling units to impact the community. I did listen to the public hearing from a couple weeks ago. I thought there were some very good points made by the public. One concern is, okay, this looks very modern and you know, whatever the current style is, but 20 years ago, what is this property going to look like? And, you know, I'm concerned that conceptually, you know, I ran some numbers. Any leasing company, the rents that are going to be asked for these single family homes are going to require a family income of well over $200,000 a year. And Simsbury is not a transient community. People with that level of means are going to want to own their home. And I'm really concerned with the sustainability of a solely residential community with very high rents, that is not on public transportation, that does not have any supported amenities. you know, I think Anka, I agree. It looks like a bunch of college dorms. I'm just very concerned with how this will age and how the impact on the area will affect our overall look of the town and the functioning of the town within the Simsbury we know. And I do feel that the entire concept, in order to be cohesive with the POCD and the overall look of town, I'm very concerned. That wasn't really a question so much as a comment, but there we are.
Thank you, Elaine. Any more feedback from your presentation regarding some of those comments?
I guess I would say not at this time.
Yeah. So George, where do we, anybody have any further comments before we can make a decision on what's next?
Yeah, so I think I would say that you probably have a couple of options, right? If you're not prepared to make a recommendation today to the zoning commission, the applicant has certainly heard some of the design concerns that this board has. If you are, I would recommend putting a motion together and making a recommendation based on that. Now, if you're not, I think there is time, because I don't know what's gonna happen at the zoning commission, but the expectation is the zoning commission is gonna continue this public hearing one more time to the 17th. Now, I can't speak for the zoning commission, but that is my expectation, because they've asked for a referral from the planning commission, for instance. The planning commission doesn't meet until next week.
Right.
I can't imagine them closing the public hearing tonight. I mean, fairly confident. So if you're not prepared, then I think your session could be done tonight. If you have nothing else to provide the applicant in terms of things to think about.
So our options for making a referral, we have positive, negative, and neutral.
And neutral with specificity. You know, I always think that you can make a recommendation to the zoning commission that this proposal include some of the things you've been talking about. Without even saying positive,
Yeah.
negative, or neutral.
And like that, we have 2 members and potentially a third for next time to add to in person. I would like to, and this is under discussion, potentially wait until the next meeting so that we can have an in-person conversation, the 6 of us, to put together a cohesive comment to bring to zoning. How does that rest with everybody?
I agree. I'd be willing to float a motion to table.
Okay. Anka?
Yes, I agree to table.
Okay. Doug?
Agreed.
So you'd move this to your regular meeting on January 17th.
Yeah, and that way, we have everybody in person. Hopefully Anka's all better and Elaine has a car.
I would just add, just to close the loop on time frame.
Yeah.
I would expect that the zoning commission would want a recommendation on that evening from you,
Yes.
and they'd be prepared.
Yeah, I don't expect us to have any reason. I think it's more that we can have a conversation all together and put our thoughts together. I find it very difficult, the here and there. So if everybody's comfortable with that, do we make a motion?
I think you've got a motion. You
Okay.
probably just need a second.
A second motion to table to the next meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
all right. I took some notes so that we can gather all the stuff together the next meeting. Okay, so does anybody have any further business on any other topics?
I just want to congratulate Elaine and Polly for your new positions.
Thank you, Anka. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.